Hi everybody, my name is Joanne and welcome, thanks for tuning in. So this is one of my very first recorded yoga classes, so we'll see how it goes. I'm teaching this evening's class for Austin Yoga Tree in Austin, Texas. So all of our members and students, we miss you very much and just hope that you get a chance to tune in and continue your yoga practice at this time. So gather up your goodies. As a side note, if you're able to, check in with Austin Yoga Tree, keep your membership, join, or even just make a donation. Both Jonathan and Adi have been absolutely amazing during this transition. And like many of us, I rely solely on my yoga income. So if it's available to you, that would be much appreciated. So this evening, we're just going to do a nice, short, gentle class, reconnect to our body and our breath, and relieve some tension and stress that we might be feeling. If you have yoga props, please go ahead and incorporate them in your practice. You don't necessarily need them. Even just pillows is a nice option, or even a bath towel can help with some of the postures that we'll be practicing tonight. As usual, if you're taking care of anything in your body, please make your modifications and adjustments accordingly. I'll try to give modifications as well. So let's start actually lying down on the ground in Shavasana. So you can lie flat to the floor if that's comfortable. If you do have a towel or a blanket that you want to use as well, you can place that towards the back of your mat where your head will be. Take a moment to get comfortable. So when you come on down to the ground, if you want to support the head, do so. Loosen up your clothing. If you do have ponytails, make sure you move them so the head isn't being shifted. You're also welcome to support behind the knees with a pillow or folded blanket and extend the legs out. Draw the shoulder blades under, out, or down the back, whatever is most comfortable for your head and your neck. You can also have your legs simply resting to the ground, feet flopping open. For some people in their low back, it's more comfortable to bend the knees up, turning the toes in and letting your knees fall in. As far as your arms, you can let your arms relax down beside you in a nice comfortable position and let your fingertips curl up naturally. You can lengthen out the low back as well. And then we're going to close our eyes and just start checking in with our body this evening. So you can continue to lie there, eyes closed, redirecting your attention, awareness into the body. And we'll do a mental scan here. So you're going to start to scan your body all the way from the crown of the head down to your fingertips and toes. As you're moving through the body, let's consciously release any unnecessary tension or tightness we might find. So softening all the little muscles across the face, around the eyes, the mouth, tongue, and jaw. You can always poof your cheeks with air. Let the mouth release, especially the lower jaw. Feel the weight of the shoulders, down through the arms, the backs of the hands relaxing. Relax all the way down the back. Soften across the front of the heart and the chest. And then try to relax the abdomen completely. You might even notice a subtle rise and fall of the belly with the breath. Continue to relax the larger muscles of the hips, the glutes, the thighs, and all the way down the legs, through the knees, into the ankles, feet, and toes. As you're moving through your body, if you do come across, again, any areas that you might be healing or taking care of this evening, let's pause on those areas for a moment. You can send a nice deep breath into them. And as you exhale, allow them to relax. Remembering that every day is a new day. We let go of judgment and we let go of any expectations that we may have placed on ourselves or our practice. So as the body continues to relax, let's start to spread this awareness to the breath. At first, simply observe and watch your body breathe. Watching the body inhale and exhale. Inhale, breathing, the body expands as it draws in fresh air and energy. And the exhale is just as important. Clean out the lungs and exhale away stale old air and energy. Continue to breathe at a comfortable rhythm and pace, ideally in and out through the nose. Over time, as you relax more into this breathing, you can incorporate a little bit more of the abdominal muscles. On the inhale, the belly can rise. On your exhale, the belly can fall, or you can gently draw it in towards the spine. Concentrating all of your awareness on the rhythm of the breath and being in the body with the breath. Try to take one more round of a deep breath. Maybe let this breath be your biggest one of your day yet. So on your next inhale, really expand. Fill yourself all the way up from the bottom to the top. And on this next exhale, take just as much time, if not even more time, to breathe all the way back out and empty everything out from the top to the bottom. And then if you want, you can let your breathing just go wherever it wants. It knows where it likes to be. We'll come back to it here in a moment. And then let's start to come back into the physical bodies. You can just feel your body relaxed on the floor. And then very gently, you're going to start to wake up the toes, the fingertips, rock the head side to side, roll your ankles and your wrists. And your next breath in, go ahead and stretch your arms overhead. And stretch everything out here on your mat. I'm going to go grab a sip of water. So you're going to stretch your right side, stretch your left side. You can point and flex the feet a couple times. And then on the exhale, let's float those arms back down. Walk your feet in. Draw the belly in and hug your knees in and just give your back a little gentle massage here from lying flat on the floor. Try to keep your feet nice and parallel to each other. Bring your knees to neutral and extend the legs up towards the ceiling here for a moment. Again, you can point and flex the feet. You can vigorously massage those hamstrings that tend to be stubborn and tight. If they are really tight and your knees are bending, that's okay. Just try to reach behind your thighs and then draw your thigh bones forward into those hands. Try to get your legs to stretch as much as possible. Don't force or push the body into a pose. Good. Gentle inversion here, just redirecting the blood flow into the upper half of the body. This pose is great for insomnia, anxiety, stress, all those wonderful things we might be feeling at the moment. Sometimes called legs up the wall because you can do this on the floor and slide your legs up a wall and just rest and let the body calm down. So let's bend the knees again, drop the feet to the floor. We're going to extend the legs back out. I want you to try to bring the insides of the legs to touch, if you can, right down the middle of your mat. And try to listen to my voice instead of turning your head like I'm doing. Just keep your head and neck in a nice neutral position. You can draw the shoulder blades under. Arms down, palms down, reconnecting to the breath with movement. On our inhale, we're going to extend the arms up to the ceiling and overhead. Flex your feet, pull your toes to your shin bones, stretch everything out. As you exhale, point the toes back forward, pump your arms down. Water pump pose. On the inhale, re-extend. Toes and fingers reach to the back wall. You might notice your low back gently arches. Exhale, point the toes, pump the arms. Start to draw the belly in here. So an additional option, inhale into extension, a small abdominal crunch, and also to stretch the root of the neck. As you exhale and point the toes and pump your arms,
you can try to lift your head up and look to your toes, drawing that belly in. And then when you inhale, you re-extend. And you should be moving at your own rhythm and pace. Exhaling, adding some power here and strength. Inhale, lengthening. Let's take one more. So this pose helps with our circulation and also just our coordination, getting our brain to function through the whole body here. Let's meet on the inhale, big stretch. Next exhale, we're going to float our arms down, walk your feet in. You can draw your heels towards your sit bone. Your feet are parallel to each other. You can't see them, but just try to use your proprioception to figure out where they are in space. And they're just a few inches apart, so are the knees. If you happen to have a yoga block, you can place it right between your inner thighs. Otherwise, just keep the energy there so that the knees don't fall open. Shoulder blades under. You can bend your elbows, palms facing in. Make sure when you lift up, we're going to go into flowing bridge pose. Flowing Setu Bandhasan. So you're going to be strengthening the back side, stretching the front. So head in neutral. Don't turn the head. Put your drishti on one spot on the ceiling. Engage the glutes as you inhale. Press down through the feet and the backs of the arms to float the hips up. On your exhale, you're lowering your hips back down to the ground. Inhale, press down to rise up. Exhale to lower. So I want you to keep flowing again with your breath. Another option is to bring your arms down, palms down. Make sure the weight is transferring to the meaty part of the shoulders and not the back of the neck. Now we can add the arms again and give our shoulders a little bit of a massage where we hold a lot of tension. So on your inhales, as you're lifting the hips up, the arms can follow and reach overhead. On your exhale, when you lower your hips, your arms can come back down beside you. Again, make sure this doesn't compromise the neck or shoulders. The chest can move towards the chin, but try to avoid tucking the chin towards the chest. Let's do two more. Flowing Setu Bandhasan, bridge pose. Stretching the quads, the hip flexors, maybe even a little bit of the abs as you strengthen your back. On your next exhale, when the hips are down to the ground, arms come down, we'll pause. Go ahead and rock your knees side to side. Draw the belly in. You can draw your knees back in. Give your back a gentle massage. So let's do one more supine pose before we transition. We'll bring the feet back down to the floor. But this time you're going to walk your feet open as wide as your yoga mat and let your knees stay open as well. So this is called windshield wiper pose. It's another nice stretch for the front of the quads and the hip flexors and a gentle twist. Arms can cactus out beside your shoulders, so your elbows are at 90. Try to let the backs of the hands just flop to the floor. Again, with the breath, you'll exhale, knees over to the right. You'll notice that your left side does arch up off the ground. Inhale, back up to center. Exhale to the other side. Now the head can also turn the opposite direction of the knees. So you're getting a little gentle back bend here as well. Let's take it back over to the right hand side. We're going to hold here. So you're just letting gravity stretch out the left side. So you'll feel this up the left quad, hip, through the waist. Try to sink your left shoulder down. You'll stay here for a couple breaths. If it's okay in your knees, you may pick up your right foot and place it on top of the left thigh. So the weight of this leg is now taking me deeper into the pose. If you feel any discomfort around the knees, the hips, the low back, don't do it. Take a breath. You'll bring the right foot back down to the ground. The inhale will bring the head and knees back to neutral. If you feel like you need to wiggle or adjust anything before the other side, do so. And then let's drop the knees over to the left. You could just hang out here, letting gravity do most of the work, feeling that stretch through the front of the thigh, the hip, maybe a little bit through the low back here. The self-adjustment brings the left foot on top of the right thigh. Don't assume this side will feel the same as the first side, so make your adjustments. Take a nice big breath. Bring the left foot back down. Inhale the knees up. Reposition. When you're ready, draw those knees back into the body. And maybe float the head up if you want to do a little deeper stretch here. So one of the safer ways to come up to a seat is to bring the right arm beside the head. Roll over to your right side. We can even pause for a moment, resting your head on the arm, left hand to the floor in front of the heart. And then you can turn your heart towards the ground, push down, sometimes extending that top leg helps. And we're going to bring ourselves up to a seat. So in a seated position, I would highly recommend sitting up on something. So that might be a couple folded blankets. If you have a yoga block, you can sit up on that. I have this nice meditation cushion that I like to use. And the higher up you go, a little bit easier for those of us that have really tight hamstrings or issues with the low back. Basically, we want to avoid when we come into a seat looking something like this. So we really want to try to keep as much of a neutral spine as we can. But because these muscles tend to be tight, it pulls us out of alignment. That's why a little prop can help. So you can find your seat. You can take Sukhasana, which is our easy cross pose, crossing at the shins or the ankles. Siddhasana is a heel to heel alignment. If you have another option that works best for you, then take it. This can be the most challenging pose of our practice, is just sitting on the ground. And it does take some core stability, so I do want you drawing in and up through the low belly. Stack the ears over shoulders, shoulders over the hips the best you can. Let's reach our arms out to the side, palms up. Take another nice deep breath in and just reach your arms up. Turn the palms back out and exhale, float the fingertips back to the floor. If you want to add a little stretch here for the neck on the inhales, you can float the chin up, taking your drishti up. As you exhale and you extend down, dropping the chin to the chest, but don't pull the chest inward. If anything, lift it up a little higher. Inhale, float it up. Next, exhale, fingertips to the floor, or extending towards it, chin down, chest lifting up. We're going to hang out here, so you can shrug your shoulders away from your ears. Gentle release for the neck and shoulders, where we tend to hold a lot of tension. Go ahead and rock your right ear to your right shoulder. As you breathe in, exhale, chin down. Inhale, left ear to left shoulder. And exhale down. So you can do this a couple times to each side, or if one side feels really tight, you can hang out there for an extra breath, no problem. After you do both sides and balance yourself out, we'll meet with the chin back down. We'll inhale our arms and the chin back up. Bring your palms to touch and exhale, hands to heart. So if it's available, I'd like you to switch up the cross of your legs at this time. We always tend to sit the same way. Let's interweave all 10 fingers. Same thing with this. However, you automatically gripped your hands. You have one pinky in front. I'd like you to try to thread them the other way. And it might feel a little funky and odd, and that's normal. As you exhale, press your palms forward. Here you can purposely round the back. This is to stretch out the muscles. So splay your shoulder blades. Again, the chin can drop down. You can draw the belly in. As you inhale, you're coming back onto the front of your sit bones. The arm bones are going to float up as much as you can. As you exhale, draw belly in, scoop, tuck, and round. Seated cat-cow. Big breath in to improve our posture here. Drawing those upper arm bones back. One more. Let's meet on the inhale with the arms up. Let's open the hands up. And as you exhale, you're going to bring your left fingertips down to the ground. Upavishta Trikonasana, seated triangle. Keep your sit bones equally rooted. You can draw in and up through Mula Bandha, which is the pelvic floor muscles.
Uddiyana Bandha just below the navel center. And then when you exhale, you can lean over to your left. So keep the sit bone rooted. You're lengthening the waist, the rib cage. Our inhale, use your muscles. Bring the arms back up. Exhale, right fingertips down to the ground. Keep your left sit bone rooted. You're moving in this lateral plane as if you were sliding along a wall. Head is a natural extension of the spine. Again, inhale up. Let's do one more to each side. If you want, you can turn your drishti down, forward, or up to change the stretch. Inhale. And exhale one more time to your right. Inhale, both arms up. Active twisting, keep this nice long spine. As you exhale, squeeze and twist to your right. Now the arms can hover parallel or they can extend towards the opposite knee in the ground. They might not even touch. Feel free to take the head and the eyes with you. Again, inhale, lengthen, lift back to neutral. Exhale, squeeze and twist to your left. You want to try to keep your chin and shoulders as parallel to the floor as you can. Let's do that one more time to each side. So these are the 3 basic movements that we should do every day for our spine. Flexion, extension, lateral extension, and rotation. Exhale, twist, twist, twist. Bring it all out. Big breath in and up. Palms touch, exhale back to your heart. So we are going to move to a tabletop position. If you like to crawl forward over your legs, you can. Or just give your legs a quick little stretch and a wiggle. So we will be coming onto our knees. Those of you that need extra cushion for your knees, I'll show you. You can simply take your mat about midway and fold it back maybe 3 to 4 inches. And then that gives you a little extra cushion for the knees. If you have V cushions or an extra yoga mat you want to put there, a folded towel might work as well. I usually recommend if you have blankets that you're using, you smooth it out and that you want the whole portion of the knee and shin bone to be on your support. The tops of the feet can hang off the edge, so that's up to you. So we are stacking the joints. I want you to spread your fingers as wide as possible, and your hands are as broad as your shoulders. So I like to have my pinkies touching the long edge of my mat. And splaying the fingertips, pressing through the first knuckles. Try not to turn your fingers in. If anything, you can have your pointer fingers facing forward. And strong arms, try not to lock out the elbow joint. So push into the ground. Head is floating in a nice neutral position. It wants to hang, so we got to bring it back up. You're drawing the belly in here, but you want your spine to remain in a nice neutral position. And your knees and feet should be about hips width apart. So you do have a few inches between there. So keeping your hips level, arms nice and strong. Let's extend our right foot back behind us. You're just stretching out the back of the leg. You can have your toes tucked under. If you want a little bit more, shift your weight back as if you were trying to push the heel to the floor, and you'll feel that in the Achilles and the calf muscles. Weight evenly distributed in the hands. And then we'll bring the right knee down, hips stay level, left foot stretches back. Make sure you get space back there. And then let's bring that left knee down. We're going to re-extend the right leg. Again, this is going to start to use more of the core muscles. Squeeze your right side, low back, glutes, to hover your right leg parallel to the floor. And I want that foot flexing, toes pointing down. So you're welcome to stay here, building up strength, or you can reach your left arm forward. So the palm is turned in, thumb up. This does turn into a balancing pose. The whole time your breath is just flowing smoothly and evenly in and out through the nose. Let's take a big breath in. Exhale, hand and knee come down. There should not be a big shift here in the body. Extend left leg. Activate your left side to hover the left leg parallel to the floor. Right arm reaches forward, palm in, thumb up. Balancing here. Make sure you're distributing the weight into the knuckles of your left hand. Where's the head? Make sure your head is lengthening from the spine. Big breath in. Exhale, tabletop. So as you're building up wrist strength, you might need to take some options here, and it's good to do anyway. You have fingertips or hasta bandha, so you can lift your palms up. It's almost like you're holding a nice orange or big shiny apple, driving your fingertips into the ground. You can also have fists for wrists, so it's a nice strong punching fist, and you're having your palms turn into each other, and the joints are still stacked there. So those are your options, fists for wrists, fingertips, or flat palms. So as you breathe in, we're going to relax the belly and extend from the tail to the crown of the head. As you exhale, scoop the tail under. You are drawing the belly in. Chin can draw towards the chest, drishti to your belly button. Inhaling into extension. So this is a great pose for bulging discs to help create space between the vertebrae. The exhale is purposeful flexion, which can help stretch the muscles of the back of the heart, low back. Try to get the pelvis to move. Articulate all the way up and down the spine, through the shoulders, and use your breath. You're always welcome to add other little movements here, so maybe a little stretch of the shoulders side to side, more hips, head, whatever works for you. So we'll balance ourselves out. We'll do one more of each. And then we're going to come off our wrists completely and come into our first balasana, or child's pose. Wide knee child's pose is a great option. Knees as wide as your yoga mat, toes touch. So you're going to try to sink your hips to your heels. You can walk your fingertips forward, and you can relax the belly, the heart, and the head towards the floor. Now modifications. This doesn't feel great for everybody's knees. So you can take your towel and roll it up here so it's long enough to slide behind the knee creases, so that when you sit down, it keeps the backs of the knees more open. You can use your yoga block or a prop if you have it, if the head doesn't easily come to the ground under the forehead. You can also stack your fists or your forearms under the forehead, but we do want the head to be grounded, but simultaneously trying to stretch out the hips. If those don't work for you, puppy pose is a nice option. So you don't even have to sit back. You can keep your hips more elevated. You can drop to those forearms, use your yoga block, relax, or bow the head towards the ground. Wherever you are, take one more breath. So let's bring it back up to tabletop here. So you'll need to readjust the knees and the feet if you want. And let's do one more inversion. We're going to keep everything down on the ground this evening. We need some grounding right now. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. From tabletop, you can walk your hands about 1 hand's distance forward. You can tuck your toes under. Again, drawn through the low belly for some strength. And then as you're ready, you can float your knees and hips up, back, and down. So I'm going to give us some options here. Down dog isn't for everybody, so if you come up, doesn't feel good, just come back to your tabletop. You can stretch your legs back one at a time. So if you're taking care of high blood pressure, heart conditions, glaucoma, you want to be mindful about dropping your head down below the heart. If you are in downward facing dog, another option is just to bend your knees more deeply. You want to draw your shoulders away from your ears. The head is floating between the upper arm bones. Hands, weight evenly distributed. You can make sure that they're nice and symmetrical as much as possible. Over time, you might be able to stretch out the backs of the legs a little bit more just by pedaling your heels. And your feet should be nice and parallel to each other. And then let's all try to lift our heels up if we're in downward facing dog. You can give your back a little stretch here. On the exhale, we're going to lower the heels to the ground. Good. From here, we're going to shift our weight back forward into a plank pose. You can roll if you want. Now you might need to slide your feet a little further back. We want our body to be in a nice straight line with the arm bones still stacked here. Modification, kneeling plank. Head is an extension of the spine. So you're drawing your weight through the whole body, front to back. Compact those hips, draw the low belly in, smile, and breathe for 3, 2, 1.
Inhale, start to float the hips up. Exhale, down dog or tabletop or child's pose. Take a breath. If we're still upside down and downward facing dog, inhale, float your heels up. Next exhale, we're going to drop the knees back down. You can take them wide. Sit back into your child's pose. You can also keep the knees together and sit back. You can even slide your hands all the way back to your feet. Maybe wiggle with the fingers, roll your wrists, take some pressure off the wrists. So let's take another transition. If it's okay on the knees, hands under the shoulders, tuck the chin. Go ahead and round it up one vertebra at a time. You can also transition through tabletop. You're just going to shift your hips back over and bring your feet back forward. So it's already time to come back down onto our backs. Yay. So safest way to do that is to roll to one side, use your hands, and bring yourself onto your back. If you want to do a little bit more core this evening, just to feel a little strength here, make sure you have space behind you. You can open your knees a little wider than your hips. You can extend your fingertips forward. The insides of my feet are touching. I'm going to draw that low belly in, and I'm going to slowly try to come down. Don't compromise your low back. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it. Once you come down, your shoulders and head touch. I'm going to have you extend your heels forward, flex those feet, reach your arms back overhead, stretch everything out right to left. And then on the exhale, we're going to float our arms down, walk those feet in. Again, adjust the clothing, ponytails, shoulders. So we're going to go into one hip stretch and then start to wrap things up. This is supine pigeon. So we're going to extend the right leg up. I want this foot actively flexed. Externally rotate the leg, so you're turning the thigh out, heel will come in, toes out. Then you're going to cross your right ankle on top of your left thigh. You're welcome to just be here. You can even cactus your arms and do a little rock. So we're going to try to stretch through that deep into that right hip here, the piriformis. If you want, right hand can gently guide that thigh bone a little further away from you. If you need more, you're going to pull your left leg in. You can wrap both hands around your left thigh and extend the left leg straight up to the ceiling. Right foot still actively flexed. So again,